Hello, folks. We're back again, and today we're going to do our top three of 2023.
It's that time of year of top game lists videos that everybody are doing, and we're doing one ourselves.
We might as well do one ourselves,
Yeah.
right? So these are the three that tickled our fancy this year, a little bit more than others. Now it's kind of hard. There's some caveats. It's kind of hard to judge a game that hasn't been out for years because you just haven't had that much opportunity to play it.
Right.
Or maybe sometimes, like with a couple of these games, we just started playing them as much as we could because they're great. But that doesn't happen a lot. Very often, a great game will come along, we'll enjoy it, and then we have to move on to other things.
Yeah. It is a bit of a problem getting to play these games as much as you want, especially when you have so many games to go through. And this isn't This isn't like I want at least my list isn't like a strict objective. These are the best games of 2023. These are just the ones that are really standing out in mind, right? Like the ones that, for whatever reason, are tickling something in the heart that we really enjoy. So I'm gonna go in with it with that much a caveat.
And I left out some of the remake games. This was another great year for those. We had Raw, which is a pretty old game that was redone in a really nice version that I really, really liked. Maybe even some as good as some of these other ones. And then Castles of Burgundy, which
it's a big one.
is probably one of my favorite games of all time now. And that
yeah, you could argue with that a little bit because they had the new expansion that came out with it too. But it is an older game at this point.
Yeah, and it's but that implementation of it was just chef's kiss. It was great.
Very nice.
But there was a lot of other stuff too, and there's tons of stuff we didn't get to play. We'd love to know right now. Tell us your top three games, and we'll see if we overlap any.
Yeah.
All right. So, do you want to go first?
Sure. So one game that I've got pretty recently is this little game by DeVere called Bamboo. This is in the same universe as Bitoku, and so they did this game called Silk, which was just a pretty small game. I actually just got that recently too. It's pretty nice for what it is. But then they made the Bitoku like it's kind of more of a universe that they're creating with that game. And it kind of built off of what Silk was already starting to do. And then Bamboo is also using like the similar spirits. These kind of, I think they're not strict spirits from Japan, but like they're somewhere in Japanese folklore, and then they kind of tweaked them to fit this little world that they're doing. But anyways, I'm kind of digressing. Bamboo is like a kind of a
it's decorating your space, feng shui.
Yeah, you're kind of feng shuiing this little bit of a puzzly spatial arrangement in your house. Your bamboo farmers is the theme, but you're more or less just buying stuff and sticking it in your house and trying to make sure that it's balanced. But the thing I like about it is it's just obviously a very compact game. There's quite a bit in this box. I've got it kind of upside down because I've got it flipped over on the back side. It's upside down the other way. But yeah, you've got quite a bit of like crunchy, medium Euro weight decisions that you're making in a fairly small, compact unit here. So I really enjoy that. It's really nice when you're starting to fill up your shelf with way too much crap, and you've got something that's got as much crunch and meat to it as this does. So yeah, Bamboo, really enjoy it, and I'm looking forward to continuing to play this quite a bit more.
There's a lot of game in that little package.
There is.
It's sort of like Japanese ghosts and interior decorating where they meet, right?
yeah, in a sense, yeah. You're kind of you also are doing a little area control sort of. I don't know if area control is the word. There's another word that I've heard mentioned.
Well, you have that you have sort of this randomized preference for the way things are arranged, right? So those come out kind of like objective cards, and then you meet the objective, or you purchase those, right?
Yeah, you're kind of picking up these. They call them balance tokens, and then you're trying to make the arrangement that it requires on there in a certain pattern, or otherwise you lose points either during the game or at the end of the game if you're unbalanced. And then you're gaining these spirit favors too, so you get these little spirits that help you as you go as well. And that's where that area that it's not it's area majority, I think is the word I'm trying to say. Area majority, where you're placing all your actions with these little limited. You've got like little incense sticks that act as any of your actions require you to have a certain number of those, and you run out of them pretty quick. So that's another thing. Again, just nice because it plays pretty quick because you can't do that many things on one round, and there's only 4 rounds in the game. It's really fun.
Speaking of a quick and limiting game,
yeah,
I have what I declare to be the best version of Unmatched.
Mm-hmm.
This is Unmatched. I always thought was fun. It's a fun kind of little card game. I love that they could have all the different characters. You can pick up those cards without ever really knowing the character and get a feel for how to play it. Because the rule set's just tight enough, and there's just enough variation. Obviously, I've done something crazy because it's about to come. It's about to burst open. All the excitement is
sideways and up and down. That's how mine start to do. They just start to bow out at the bottom.
The excitement's just trying to escape out of here. So I love Unmatched. It's typically a dueling game. You can play it up to 4 players. I've never done that. We should try it at the game club or something.
Yeah, I could see that being fun.
Yeah, and this would be maybe more fun at 4 players, but as a versus thing, I'm not sure how that would work.
Yeah, I don't know. That's kind of like playing what's the other dice thrown? And which that works pretty easy. Well, whatever, that works pretty easily as a big group.
Now I've seen a 12-person dice throwing game.
Yeah,
so
pushing the limit.
Anything's possible.
Take it to the limit.
But this is a fun little set. If you just got one, if you just were going to get one Unmatched set, this is what I'd recommend. Mm-hmm. You can play it just like you traditionally played Unmatched. You can blend in your other ones if you've already got Unmatched. You can bring them in and play them under this new scenario. We got 2 bosses in here to fight.
Yeah, and the characters are really neat in this one too, I think.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you got the the old Japanese comic hero. What's the skull? I don't know what he was. Something. He's got the big skull and instead
the golden bat.
Golden bat, yeah, which doesn't look like a bat. I don't know if he's necessarily golden. He's got a golden belt buckle. Goofy characters, so that's fun. I had the Louisiana boat mama or whatever. Or,
Annie Christmas.
Yeah, so that's neat. And then you got
Jill Trent is in here. She's apparently some fictional character from the past. Probably something that's over 100 years old. Yeah. So they could pick it up without a copyright problem. And Nikola Tesla.
Yeah, so that's a lot of fun. I really enjoy zany kind of different, weird, kooky characters like that. And I had a lot of fun playing the what's her name? Christmas?
Annie Christmas.
Annie Christmas. She was fun.
It was fun. She was clutching her pearls.
She's tough. She don't mess with old Annie. Right?
She'll tell you.
All right. So my number 2 for 2023 is Earth. I mean, Earth is such a fun game. This is probably my favorite in all of those like engine building card games that would be in line with like Wingspan, Terraforming Mars. I'm trying to think what other big ones. I know there's a few other big ones like that right now, but. So much fun. I really like how all of the. I guess the biggest thing I like about it is the way that like each one of every time somebody's taking a turn, everybody else gets to do a little something based off of their turn, and it'll reactivate like their engines and stuff too. So you have all these color coded actions that you're doing on the game.
It really makes the engagement go way up higher than any typical game like this.
Yeah, and you have like in-game, inside game points that you're going for off of these little like scoring cards, and so that certainly causes you to have to pay attention to what other people are doing too. Where on some of these other games there might be a little too much going on to really pay attention to somebody else's board. But I found it all very accessible, very easy to teach, and always some really like like your island, I guess is what you'd call it, your tableau is going to be quite a bit different from one game to the next, except I do find myself gravitating towards Fungi for whatever reason. I guess just because I like the cheap buys real quick. I'm always worried about filling out my Tableau before everybody else.
It's because you're a fun guy.
Yeah, fun guy. But there's a lot of different ways you can go about it, and it's pretty. The presence on the table too, with the growths, the little trees that kind of build up off your cards, is just nice. And it's fairly simple components otherwise, with the little cubes and stuff there for the leaflet or whatever the sprouts, I guess is what they're called. So, but it's really satisfying to go through and start to get this really big engine that starts to build up without you even really trying. You don't have to be like some mastermind to start having this really neat engine build out on the table.
That's a lot of fun. We'll have to pull that one out again.
Yeah, I really like it a lot. I'm definitely happy to get it out anytime somebody's wanting to play it.
So much like Earth,
Yeah.
Owen brings over these games that I just refuse to buy.
Yeah.
And then I play them, and then pretty soon, the next thing I know, I'm buying copies of White Castle for everyone that I know that would like a board game for Christmas.
He's ordering it while we're playing.
So I got myself a copy, and then I've got my friends' copies. I love this game. This is a super tight, very easy to play at work on lunch. I imagine, if I was two players.
You might have to have a long lunch, an hour lunch at least, I don't know.
They won't know.
Yeah.
They won't know. Invite them over.
Yeah.
And then you could take 2 hours. No one will care.
But definitely an hour and a half, you could certainly knock it out.
Well, I think if it's just two people, you could get it done in an hour.
Well, it's got solo in it too. I don't know if have you tried the solo yet with it?
I started to try it, and then I did not.
Yeah.
It was set up, and I just made Holly come up and play with me instead.
Yeah, the solo is pretty simple with it. Now, I told Sean at the beginning of this video I didn't want to really overlap with his games that he was going to pull out. But the White Castle, I'm right there with him on this one as far as this being a number 2 pick. I mean, it is just a very elegant game. So much. And another DeVere small box, just like the Red Cathedral, they did the same thing
Tiny.
too. They're kind of doing this theme, it seems like. DeVere's competing with who is the other people that make the for all of the Raiders series and stuff. Was it Garfield Games?
Yes.
Yeah, and Renegade. They're kind of always trying to make these really compact boxes, and it seems like DeVere's kind of been doing that too with some of their games. But man, it is a lot of fun.
It is neat. You've got exactly 9 choices to make. Well, I guess
9 turns.
Yeah, it's 9 turns.
Yeah, 9.
You're going to pick a die and you're going to put it on something.
Yeah.
And then try to cause chain reactions that combo.
Yeah, and that's the fun part.
Other.
Yeah. That's where it's just such a good time when it's so satisfying when you can put like 3 meeples down in one turn. And that's kind of where most all your points come from in the game, is trying to instill as many of your family members into the White Castle as possible. And man, it's good. I like it.
Yeah, I love this game.
Very nice, crunchy Euro game.
Thank you for introducing it.
Yeah,
to me.
I'm so glad you enjoyed it as much as I did. So for the my favorite game, I think that's come out this year. And I don't have the whole box here because it's a big box. So I'm just got the lid out right now. But that is The Witcher Old World. Man, this is such a neat game. It's got that exploration component and like without this being this big campaign, you get to have that feeling of going through this kind of like RPG-ish world, running around, building yourself up. And then just finishing it, and not having to like do this just like, all right, now we got to meet again next week to get to story 2, and out of 20 page, 20 different chapters or whatever, this you kind of do one, nice epic story in like 2 hours, 2 to 3 hours or something, whatever that is.
4 hours, maybe.
Yeah, well, if you're really playing the game the way it's supposed to, it probably would come down to be like 2 hours or less even if you're really racing and just trying to just go straight for the points and really be competitive. But we find ourselves kind of bouncing around, taking our time, reading out all these little story flavor text cards that show up. And
it's cool too that you can make it a little bit deeper.
Yeah.
So you can add in layers of rules to make it to the complexity that you enjoy seeing things. Like some people complain that the monsters were too plain Jane and stuff. They had a fix for that in there, and they just kind of leave it off at first because it does add to the complexity, and it does the game. Every game I played went pretty long. And that otherwise it would be higher on my list because I absolutely loved the game. It
is one of those things with games where it can unfortunately knock a game down in a rating just because of the length of it. But man, and we're kind of doing this thing too where I've been able to kind of feel like I can hold off on backing games and getting games that Sean's getting already or he already has a collection of. Because I'm over here enough and I feel like I can kind of share enough in that experience to be able to fully experience those games as much as I want to without having them myself. This is one that I'm very happy that I also purchased because even if Sean had got this and showed it to me, I would have probably gone out and bought it myself. I liked it that much, and I did the full Kickstarter backing, so I don't know what it's like having to track down all those expansions that you guys might be doing. But I thought, like, for all the game that you got, I thought it was pretty well worth the price.
Well, and if you're not into miniatures and painting miniatures, that's a big thing for me. I really like doing that, and the ones that came in this game were good. Yeah. They were real good. But they do make a standee version of this that's very economical. Yeah. So if the miniatures aren't that important to you, it's still great art.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing. I'm getting more gravitated towards having like those smaller footprint games as opposed to taking the miniatures, because I don't paint my miniatures very often. Once in a rare blue moon do I get out and paint a few of them and then put my paints up. I need to get it. I need to just start just doing the quick painting and stop worrying. I worry about the detail too much, and then I end up just overdoing it,
bogged down,
and wearing myself out. But I do have all the miniatures with this as well. I do enjoy them. They do look nice, but I could. Especially if you know you're not going to want to paint miniatures, go get those little pictures. The pictures look nice. They're painted. I mean, not paint, whatever. They're printed.
Standees.
They're colored. Yeah. So you have that where instead you're just going to have gray plastic on the board, even though it looks neat for its presence, but there's nothing wrong with a standee either. And man, if you have not played The Witcher though. Go play it. go find it somewhere. Find somebody that's got it. Go get the base game. Even you'll have a lot of fun just with the base game.
Yeah, we really liked it. We're just from the base game. Mm-hmm. We had a good time, and I'm excited to explore further. Mm-hmm. Speaking of a good time, my number one game this year is Rolling Heights. This is made by John DeClaire, who also did Kabutos. A game is hard for me to say for some reason.
Cubitos?
Anyway, so Rolling Heights is a city building game where you're taking... Have you played this yet?
No. I'd mentioned, I do need to play it with you. We have not had an opportunity to play it yet.
So you can look at the back.
I've looked into it. I'm aware of more or less of what's going on with it. But
So this one, you start with this sort of an empty cityscape. Mm-hmm. Then you take turns drafting small tiles. Mm-hmm. And on those tiles will be what's required to construct the building in the form of these different resources. Like glass and metal and stuff. So you're rolling workers. You've got these meeples. And you roll the meeples. And if they land up, then they're working hard, and they give you 2 of those items. If they're on their side, then they're working steady, and they give you 1 of those items. And if they lay on their back, then they're tired.
Yeah, that's a fun little mechanic.
And they give you nothing. And you can try to re-roll it, but if any of them ever not come up as if they're working, then they go on strike, and you get some little caveat prize, and then and you move on.
But do you find that it's problematic with how they land on their side or back or whatever? Is that
your first couple of rolls of a meeple, because rolling a meeple doesn't feel natural at all. The first couple of times you do it, it's a little tricky. Then you realize that you can kind of bank them off the sides. Yeah. Off the side of the box, and you have a little bit more of a chance of kind of getting them up and stuff.
Get to work.
And you can do up to 14, and as you go, as you accomplish the different things, you'll get more meeples and stuff. So you kind of have this bag building of meeples to throw.
Cool. Yeah. I definitely need to try it. It looks really neat on the board. I watched Sean's review that he did of this, and yeah, it's got a really nice table presence. So
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
They look like little towers. It's
Yeah.
not something you're going to want to play if you got a bunch of little kids around,
Yeah.
like or table shaker types.
yeah,
You know you are, you table shaker type. But it does have a little bonus game that I just love. It's
Kwanchai Moria did the artwork on here too. I didn't realize that. I really like their artwork. Or Kwanchai.
What did he do?
Kwanchai did the art for Apiary as well as In the Hall of and Fall of the Mountain King.
Oh, okay. I love the art and all those. Yeah.
So,
Yeah, this is nice. But the ape game is you got like a big gorilla and he's wrecking the city and stuff. So you got a little. Some would say that this is an elaborate setup game for that part at the end.
yeah.
But it's just something to do with all these constructed buildings, a way to tear them apart.
Yeah, just something to have a little more fun with the toys on your table. Yeah, get one of those. If you haven't heard me already, I'm a little rough.
Well, yeah.
Well, I'm not rough anymore, but I sound rough.
So that is our top 3 of 2023.
Yeah.
Just a quick video telling you about stuff we like.
Yeah, there's been a lot of fun games come out this year.
Yeah.
Definitely, left quite a few of them off of the list that we still really enjoyed. But
There's a lot of stuff still to explore too.
Yep.
I loved Apiary.
Yep. Apiary was a lot of fun. Definitely was one that we both thought of.
And he's got Nucleum over there. We're about to break Nucleum out and try it. So I don't even know. That just came out this month. Right?
I played that once solo so far, and I really enjoyed that quite a bit. It's I really wanted to play that with people before I made a full decision on it. Orc Quest was really fun. I got that out this year. It's got a little bit of problems with the rules that were produced for it, but otherwise that was another one that I definitely thought about because I did have a lot of fun with it. But it's also another.
And that Bantam West is really really neat.
Yeah, Bantam West is another one that I haven't fully gotten to explore as well, but I can tell that that's going to be a pretty fun game the more I get into it. So,
yeah, I'm excited to play more of that.
Yeah.
And you come back and see it
Yeah.
because we'll be talking about it right here.
Yeah.
So until next time, enjoy your games. We'll see you soon. Bye.
Take care.